Alright, so it's almost kickboxing time. That's why I look like this. But I owe you guys two summaries. This is Wednesday, watched the episode this morning. So here we go. So we're going to talk about last week first. Oh, What Hard Luck Stories, The All Handmaid. So we found out that Ezra is in Harrisburg for the weekend. Spencer and Hannah make up, and they see that Holbrook's back. And I guess the trial is going. It says tried and convicted. Allie's dangerous. Arya says that Allie's dangerous. I always mark who says what because I think it's interesting. We find out Mike Montgomery's visiting Allie. I knew he was suspicious. I've said this from the beginning, but now that they're showing that, it kind of my thought is that Mike was actually helping Mona fake her death, and then she actually did get killed. Holbrook was suspended for inappropriate behavior. He tampered with the lie detector test results. We see a new girl. Her name is Leslie, and she's nerdy. And we see the reference to the Edgar Allan Poe book. And then we find out there's actually a tape inside that binding. Mona's always thinking, didn't even know they were being controlled. That would be the best part. I don't remember. I think that might have been something Mona says, but this is from last week. Why did Leslie know Mike? Is what I put. We find out that Mike can be controlling. There was a call the night before she died, or the night that she died, that they got in a fight, and pretty much was like, I'm coming over, da da da. So is Mike really controlling or abusive or whatever it is? Emily's trying to move. Then we see Spencer and Jimmy. I don't really care. If Jimmy is a part of this, fine, but I don't really care to see him. There's a flashback with Hannah and Mona saying, put Allie in Radley and she would never come out. No one ever does. And I thought to myself, and then you see her. She's like, has an evil look on her face that Hannah can't see in the bed. And I thought to myself, how would you know that? Do you have a twin that was in Radley? Do you know someone that went to Radley? Because this is years ago. Okay, tape in Mona's book. Did Mike know? Because he saw them with the book and he says, you need to put that back. Da, 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 and bugged out. Now we realize he knew there was a tape in the book. Hannah's being followed. Arya follows Mike. He leaves a bag on the ledge and with gummy candies. So we're all like, is Mona alive? Who is he leaving it for? Mike says, no one's giving me orders anymore. Be careful going home through the woods, he says. And I put, maybe Mona did fake her death, or she was going to. She helped Allie do it, so why wouldn't she do it for herself? We found out Allison's blood is on the barrel. Hannah's pulled over, and it's Holbrook. That was a really creepy scene. And how she reacted to him, I've been very suspicious of Hannah. I'm very suspicious of this episode that we just saw of Hannah as well. And the way she reacted to him and stood up to herself and the way she talked to him, and it made me think like, ooh, maybe Hannah is A, or she's part of this. A goes to Mona's room and finds out the tape's gone. Okay, this episode, Out Damned Spot, I looked that up. I thought I knew what it was. It was Lady Macbeth. It's from Shakespeare, and it talks about murder and guilt, and she kills her husband, I believe, and it makes her crazy, and she has this dream that there's a spot of blood on her hand, a stain from her husband that she can't get rid of. So that's what the name of this episode was. There's a blood drive. Obviously, A's going to take their blood. And we find out it was a few weeks jump again in our timeline because the woman from the church says, well, I haven't seen you in weeks at church. So then we know, once again, we're skipping even ahead. I think they're really trying to skip ahead for the girls to graduate. We see, Mike, he steals blood. It was very obvious. Arya cheats on her test. Andrew was going to tutor her. Every time I see Andrew, I get suspicious. Did Allie torture or taunt Andrew? And was he in the first episode? I forgot to look before I filmed this. Maybe Andrew's A. Can you imagine? Because he got really close with Spencer. The few times that we see him, he's like, I don't know. I mean, do you think that's a possibility? Wouldn't that be something if Andrew was A? Allie's calling Mike and says Hank Mahoney to him. Arya picks up the phone. Yeah, Ezra doesn't know Arya's going to, she got into Scott. We find out Talia is married. I don't even want to talk about it. I think it's stupid. Mike texts the Hank and told me what to bring. See you tomorrow. Um, Mike's at the ATM. He takes $400 out. It's an account that has over $18,000. Spencer asks her sister to see if Ren could get her connected to Oxford, which is crazy because she would move overseas. Arya and Emily follow Mike to a diner called Jonah's Diner, and it said something about rhubarb pie on there. And remember when we used to see the old episodes, with the pie? Oh, A loved pie, wasn't it? And that, oh, you have pretty eyes, and then it ended up being Toby, or they made us think it was. I guess that was Allie's hangout with. Not saying she's A, but that was her hangout because Cyrus ends up being Hank. And then they have everybody's blood except for Hannah's. They have Arya's, they have Spencer's, and they have Emily's. And what's weird to me is that why would Mike give Arya's blood? It's just really strange. And not, in Hannah's. So I put Hannah wasn't there, first of all, conveniently. And two, her blood wasn't even in the mix. But then we realize after that Hannah's blood is actually taken, put it on the documents, and they're setting her up. But they're freaking out the other girls, not knowing that. Cyrus tries to run them down the motorcycle, and then Andrew shows up again because he drove them there with a bat and looking evil. And I thought, who is Andrew part of this? Because they all are like. And then we see the girls go back to Spencer's house, and I think Spencer went downstairs, or who was it? Well, you see Mike's outside the window. And then we see the A scene where it looks like Hannah's going to be set up for murder. Nothing really crazy happened. The more that they're showing us Mike, the more that he's not A. But that Andrew kid, I'm going to look that up. Maybe I'll try to remember to talk about it next week. I mean, what do you think? Do you think this Andrew kid's suspicious? I don't know. Every time we see him, he just acts sketchy. And he's really weird. And I'm thinking that maybe he was another victim of Allie's. He probably was. That would be interesting, right? So I will talk to you guys later. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode and have a great week.